Everybody, welcome back to a North Texas Weather Center forecast, and today what we're going over is that potential for severe weather across North Texas this afternoon and evening. We're going to get to the timing for you, the threats on what to expect, and as well as what's going on right now in terms of severe weather and this stuff in Oklahoma and Kansas. Will this impact us? Well, I can give you the answer right now, it will. And also the potential for some severe weather on both Wednesday and Thursday. More on that later in this forecast. But let's take a look at what's going on right now across the southern plains. You can see there's already a tornado watch and several severe thunderstorm warnings already for many supercells that are developing right now in portions of Kansas and as well as northern Oklahoma. This will all shift down to the south later this afternoon in the evening hours, and it'll eventually impact us here in North Texas. That's why I'm showing it to you. But you can see there's already a very strong supercell storm here near Mullinville. This is in far southern Kansas, producing the potential for a tornado at some point down the road. It's a very discrete cell, so obviously that's something to watch if you're in southern Kansas. Also, a few discrete supercells currently developing right now in far northwestern Oklahoma. Again, any storms that develop this afternoon will rapidly become severe, so make sure that you are aware of that if you're in Oklahoma or Kansas. Closer to DFW, you can see there's a couple of little showers trying to develop right now into maybe some thunderstorms at some point. The cap is weakened, so we could see storms develop at any time anywhere in North Texas. So again, any storms that do develop, the main threat being large hail this evening. You can see a few showers again near Parker County right now, a few back down near Stephenville. Those are trying to develop. There's also a potential that a severe thunderstorm watch does get issued for portions of North Texas later today, but as of right now, there's no watch in effect yet, but that might change. All right, let's take a look at the outlook for today. There's a marginal risk of severe storms across a good vast majority of North Texas. I mean, it includes all of our counties. Now, right along the Red River Valley, there is a slight risk of severe weather, so those in Bonham or anywhere in far northern Cook County or Grayson County have that potential for, again, all modes of severe weather. So damaging winds, large hail, maybe a tornado or two will exist, even as far south as maybe North Texas. So we'll have to watch this again very closely. Here's your large hail threat for tonight. So you can see the main threat, again, going to be north of the Red River Valley. But again, we still have a chance for large hail anywhere in North Texas. And then you can see the 15% probability right along the Red River Valley there. Going to the tornado outlook for today, there is a chance for a tornado potential out in western North Texas. So you can see that really includes along the Red River Valley. And then again, back off to the west, close to areas like Graham, Jacksboro, Wichita Falls. Those areas, it's going to be really dependent on if any storms develop this afternoon right along that dry line. And again, more on that in just a moment. Take a look at the damaging wind threat for today. You can see the slight risk again right along the Red River Valley and all of the North Texas currently in a 5% probability for maybe some damaging winds up to 65 to maybe 70 miles per hour with the cell or two. All right, now take a look at the dew points. You can see back off to the west, as I was mentioning before, the dry line is set up back near Abilene and San Angelo. That is where some thunderstorms may develop this afternoon. This area here will have to be on alert for maybe a couple of discrete supercells potentially developing back out that way. Now, the potential for that today is fairly low at this point, but there is a potential. So if it does occur, we could very well see rapidly changing weather conditions and eventually seeing maybe a supercell or two potentially producing all modes of severe weather. Going throughout the afternoon and evening, you can see those dew points start to kind of drop off to the north, and that'll be eventually with that line of storms that will move through the Metroplex a little bit later this evening over into the overnight hours. And eventually we should drop dew points tomorrow. You can see a lot of us in the 50s in comparison to the 60s, but this will all rise right back up on Wednesday with a potential for more supercell storms on Wednesday. And again, more on that in just a moment. Low-level jet. Now, this is kind of showing how much strong wind shear there is today. And back off to the north, you can see near Oklahoma, northwestern Oklahoma, 50 knots in the low-level jet. So it's a very strong low-level jet in the northern portions of Oklahoma as well as southern Kansas. You can see it very well depicted there, but closer to DFW, not nearly as strong. So again, the main tornado threat is going to be well back out toward north. You can see by the time that line of storms moves toward the Metroplex, I mean, we're looking at a very weak low-level jet. So I'm not really that concerned about a tornado threat today, unless it's with one of those discrete supercells that develops a little bit later today. All right, take a look at the instability. So you can see the instability values even back out to the west as high as 4,500. I mean, it's a pretty high amount, but again, it's not going to mean a whole lot at the end of the day. It just means maybe a potential for some storms developing. Close to the overnight hours, as that line of storms moves toward the Metroplex, a lot of us will be around 2,000. Again, plenty of instability for storms to continue through the Metroplex overnight, but the cap should be able to fill in a little bit more to prevent that severe weather. Quick look at Oklahoma, and then we'll go into North Texas real quick with the timing, but you can see some storms will develop throughout the afternoon hours. Any of these discrete supercells posing all modes of severe weather, including a very good tornado threat today. Eventually, by 10 or 11 o'clock, you can see that line transitions down into North Texas, and as you can see on the future radar here in North Texas, by 10, 11 o'clock, line of storms moving through as anywhere from Wichita Falls off to the east. So again, Sherman going to be under the gun by around 12, 1 o'clock, so you can see that line of storms moving through far northern North Texas. By 1 to 2 o'clock, those storms are moving into the Metroplex. And again, any storms that do come through our area, main threat going to probably be damaging winds with this sort of line of storms, but again, maybe some large hail in there as well. Tornado threat basically zero at this point. By 3 to 4 o'clock, a few showers, maybe a few storms moving through the Metroplex. And by 6, 7 in the morning, we should start to dry out for the most part on Wednesday. Maybe a few storms forming in eastern portions of North Texas on the later portion of Wednesday. All right, let's take a look at the overall rain totals for today. You can see that back off again to the east. We're looking at the highest rain totals with that line of storms being anywhere from about half an inch to an inch of rain, maybe as high as an inch and a half in some isolated locations. And then back closer to DFW, a lot of us might just see a tracing up maybe up to a half an inch or so of rain with any storms that do come up through our area heading into later this evening. Take a look at the severe weather potential for Wednesday. There's been a pretty significant change. Obviously, there's been significant changes all week to these severe weather outlooks, and this is probably the most significant. So at this point, yesterday, there was an enhanced risk in this area here in far northern North Texas. That is now shifted back off to the northwest. Low pressure systems can be centering a little bit more to the northwest now, but there is still a slight risk of severe weather, including a good vast majority here of northwestern North Texas. That does include Denton County. So again, all modes of severe weather will be possible on Wednesday. So make sure you are aware of this severe weather potential again for Wednesday. Back closer to DFW, you can see anywhere in Dallas and Fort Worth, most of the area is going to be under that marginal risk of severe storms. Again, all modes of severe weather are possible in any of these areas. The areas that are excluded in North Texas from this risk are right now Corsicana, but I would not be shocked if there was a few storms out closer to areas like Corsicana. So don't be shocked down there in far southern North Texas, including even Waco. There might be a few severe storms there. Right, taking a look at that future radar for Wednesday, a few showers and storms might be possible during the morning hours, but eventually discrete supercells may develop during the afternoon hours. You can see a few showers and storms developing in different locations, some back off near Childress and some back down in southern portions of North Texas. These eventually could produce, again, all modes of severe weather. It doesn't show any storms going into the DFW Metroplex, but I would obviously, there might be a good chance for some storms in the Metroplex, even though one computer model is not showing it. By about 7 to 10 o'clock, a few showers and storms going right along the Red River Valley. Again, all modes of severe weather possible with any storms that develop. By 1 in the morning, we'll have a little line of storms pushing toward the Metroplex. You can see this actually at 4 now. You see a line of storms pushing toward the Metroplex, anywhere from Abilene up to Wichita Falls. This will eventually push into our region, maybe posing a low-end damaging wind threat as it moves toward the Metroplex. That'd be basically about all with this. By about 10 in the morning, that line of storms moves through the Metroplex. A few severe storms may be possible out here, close to areas like Corsicana, or not, excuse me, Texarkana, as well as southwestern Arkansas, and then eventually we will dry out going to late Thursday afternoon. And Friday, we should stay dry as well. Saturday, we should stay dry, and we should have a pretty good dry period. Maybe Monday or Tuesday, starting to see some more storm chances returning, but that's a little bit far out of the reach. By the way, the potential for Thursday in terms of severe weather has also shifted back out to the east, so it no longer includes, at least for right now, the North Texas region, but there might be a marginal risk included in a later update from the Storm Prediction Center. All right, make sure to stay updated with North Texas Weather Center on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and as well as Instagram for the latest. This forecast is brought to you by Platinum Contracting, All Dents Repair, and the Dashner Law Firm.